Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a detailed, structured look at Dragon Ball Sparking Zero on Nintendo Switch 1 and Nintendo Switch 2. This review is designed to give you clear insights into the gameplay, story structure, combat system, character roster, multiplayer options, and technical performance. If you are considering whether this title is worth playing on Nintendo's new hardware, or whether it performs better on the previous generation, this breakdown will help you make that decision with confidence. Let's begin with a detailed overview of the game itself. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero continues Bandai Namco's long-running legacy of large-scale arena brawlers. Developed by Spike Chunsoft, it follows an episodic, battle-driven structure where key moments from Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super are recreated in sequence. The format mirrors earlier titles in the franchise: high-energy duels, cinematic attacks, and fast 3D movement across spacious environments. While the fundamental design remains familiar, Sparking Zero adds refinements in accessibility, camera behavior, and transformation mechanics. However, the overall experience varies noticeably depending on whether you play on Switch 1 or Switch 2, which we will explore later in the performance section. Before diving into gameplay, it is important to clarify the key differences between the two platforms. On Nintendo Switch 1, the game runs at a lower dynamic resolution with more aggressive scaling, softer textures, and lower quality cutscenes. Visual clarity is reduced, combat effects appear less crisp, and aliasing becomes more visible during fast movement. On Nintendo Switch 2, resolution increases and HDR is supported. Lighting is stronger, color depth improves, and character shading appears closer to the intended anime aesthetic. However, and this is significant, both versions run at 30 frames per second, which we will discuss in detail later. In short, Switch 2 offers a visibly improved experience, but the limitations carried over from the first system remain noticeable. From the main hub area, players can access multiple modes including story campaigns, solo training, versus battles, online matchmaking, and custom battle setups. Despite the variety of menus, everything eventually leads toward the same core experience: large, open 3D arena battles inspired by the Budokai Tenkaichi lineage. Movement is fluid and fast. You can fly vertically, dash horizontally, charge through terrain, and navigate large environments freely. The game provides 3 dash types: evasive, pursuit, and instant repositioning, allowing meaningful control during high-speed encounters. Accessibility is a standout feature. Automatic blocking, assisted combo execution, and simplified counters allow new players to enjoy the spectacle without being overwhelmed. At the same time, traditional manual mechanics exist for experienced players who want deeper control. While familiar in structure, the gameplay remains engaging due to its pace, its spectacle, and the freedom it gives players during each encounter. Sparking Zero adopts a segmented, episodic story system. Each chapter recreates iconic battles from across the Dragon Ball Z and Super timelines, complete with voice acting and short cutscenes. Players can select from different path options early in the campaign, including the choice of pairing with well-known characters or progressing solo. These decisions slightly alter the sequence of events and add a limited degree of replayability. It must be noted, however, that some major arcs are absent. There is no Dragon Ball original storyline, no GT content, and no Universe 6 vs. Universe 7 arc. While the included content is substantial, longtime fans may notice that certain expected segments are missing. Despite this, the overall storytelling approach remains faithful to the anime and provides an enjoyable structure for progressing through the game's major battles. Combat is the centerpiece of Sparking Zero. Players can utilize light and heavy combos, directional inputs, vanish attacks, pursuit chains, and environmental movement. Supers and Ultimates introduce cinematic, high-impact finishers recognizable from the anime. Power struggle moments, a series hallmark, return with interactive button-based clashes between characters' signature attacks. Transformations are not merely cosmetic. They adjust statistics, mobility, and occasionally move sets, giving each character evolution meaningful presence during battle. The camera system has been improved to give dramatic sweeping angles, quick pivots during pursuit, and a sense of energy that mirrors the anime's action-heavy perspective. Overall, the combat is easy to learn, visually impressive, and layered enough to reward players who invest time into deeper mechanics. One of the game's most appealing features is its large roster, offering over 180 fighters at launch. This includes multiple forms of core characters, support roles, villains from various sagas, and alternate variations. Custom battles allow players to assemble unique matchups, tweak conditions, and recreate fights not included in the story chapters. Transformations, alternate moves, and form-specific supers give the roster notable diversity. For fans of the series, the character selection is a strong point, and one of the reasons the game appeals to both casual players and dedicated Dragon Ball enthusiasts. The game supports both online and offline multiplayer modes. Online multiplayer includes matchmaking, ranked battles, and custom lobbies. On Switch 2, online performance is generally stable with minimal input delay, although occasional sync issues may arise depending on connection quality. Offline multiplayer supports local versus battles using either two Joy-Cons or full controllers. The offline mode performs consistently regardless of hardware, making it a reliable option for quick matches with friends. The inclusion of both modes adds longevity and replay value to the overall experience. Performance is where the game's most significant limitations appear. Resolution and image quality. On Switch 2, the game uses dynamic resolution that peaks around 810p, resulting in visible aliasing and rough edges during close-up shots. Textures occasionally appear muddy, and cutscenes often look like compressed video, likely rendered at around 720p. Ray tracing. Ray tracing is not enabled on either Switch 1 or Switch 2. This is important to clarify because some early promotional materials suggested improved lighting on next-gen hardware. Instead, the game uses traditional lighting models enhanced only by HDR on Switch 2. There are no ray-traced shadows, reflections, or global illumination. HDR adds stronger color contrast, more vibrant highlights, and deeper blacks. While some players enjoy this effect, others may find it overly intense depending on their display settings. Frame rate. Both Switch 1 and Switch 2 versions run at 30 frames per second, which is disappointing considering the new hardware's enhanced performance. The Switch 2 system is capable of much higher output, and there is no technical justification presented in the game for limiting it to 30 frames. During combat, small frame time spikes occur, resulting in brief stutters. These are subtle but noticeable to experienced players. In handheld mode, performance appears smoother, possibly due to reduced resolution demands, but the frame rate remains capped. Overall, performance is serviceable but not impressive, and the lack of 60 frames per second on Switch 2 is a clear missed opportunity. Sparking Zero delivers engaging combat, an enormous roster, and a nostalgic return to one of anime gaming's most beloved formats. Its story mode is enjoyable, its multiplayer options are diverse, and its gameplay remains fast and satisfying. However, the technical limitations hold it back, especially on the newer hardware where players reasonably expect higher frame rates and cleaner visuals. The absence of ray tracing, reliance on a 30 frames per second cap, and frequent resolution compromises make the Switch 2 version feel like a visually upgraded port rather than a full optimization. If you are a Dragon Ball fan, the game is absolutely enjoyable and worth playing, especially for its combat and character selection. But if performance is important to you, waiting for a sale or considering an alternative platform may be the better option. Thank you for watching this review. If you found it useful, consider subscribing for more detailed, structured breakdowns of upcoming titles. Until next time, take care, and I will see you in the next video.